It's Colorless KARNage!
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Karn, Legacy Reforged. But I'll also be playing another commander during the same video. You'll see why soon. Karn, Legacy Reforged is a new artifact creature of our dear favorite Planeswalker, who is, don't worry, also featured in the deck. There's plenty of Karn to go around. Karn Legacy Reforged is a 5-mana with a variable power and toughness creature. Its power and toughness is on its own 5, but gets bigger if you have a larger artifact on the battlefield based on its mana value. So, for example, if you happen to have Metalwork Colossus on the battlefield with Karn, then you get to have an 11/11 Karn, and that's just great. On top of that, Karn also makes mana, but it's Power Stone mana, so it can only be used for certain things, mostly artifact things and ability things. Karn's okay, but he's not super duper powerful. The ways that you can build Karn, I think, in paper are a little different than in Arena, because in paper Magic, you can play lots of really cheap, pretty decent artifacts, which unfortunately just aren't present here. So instead, what we have is we have ramp, not just from Karn, but just in general. We've got our Mindstones, we've got our Coldsteel Hearts, our Guardian Idols, and of course, we've got the things we ramp into. Cityscape Leveler, Sundering Titan, Portal to Phyrexia, and Metalwork Colossus. If you're wondering, Amy, why aren't you running all the Eldrazi? This is a colorless deck. The answer is because Karn can't ramp into them, and I only have so much room for big boys in this deck because I know how the historic Brawl queue can get. Something kind of fun is we actually have some new interaction and removal in this deck as well. Invasion of Ravnica. This is a new colorless spell which can exile things as long as they don't have exactly 2 colors. It also turns into an artifact, which is pretty nice for this deck, even though you will never get to trigger the other part of its spell unless you happen to get a 2-color spell off Key to the Archive. Karn Legacy Reforged, cool commander, but as I mentioned, not super powerful in Arena. So partway through this video, I'll actually be switching to a deck I'd previously played on Brawl Stars, which is Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter. It's a good artifact, and it does make really good use of Karn. So we're gonna start with Karn, move over to the Battlethopter, and have a great time in the queue. 3 lands, some Voltaic Servants, Circuitmenders, Thran Spiders, and the Mightstone and Weakstone. We actually have tons of mana in here, since Thran Spider gives us Power Stones, and Mightstone and Weakstone is a Power Stone. Let's see, we're up against Ajani the Great-Hearted. Ajani is very much about +1/+1 counters, and works really nicely with a lot of the new Convoke cards because it gives all your creatures Vigilance. You can also use this Ajani in order to buff up some other Planeswalkers, putting some extra loyalty on them. I'm not sure how many our opponent will be playing, though, since only some Planeswalkers work that well with +1/+1 counters. Let's see if Stato connects. Looking at our lands here, I have no basic lands. I mean, the only basics in the deck are Waste, the typeless land. Sunscorched Desert, ooh, that could ping their commander. Plaza of Heroes can make our Karn indestructible for a turn. And Mistress Foundry, it can attack. It's a creature land. I like that they also have some extra life Ajani sleeves. That's very cute. Finalish, Knight Counselor. It's a really strong 2/1. It costs only 1 mana, and it can get bigger. Or make other things bigger. That's what it is. Whenever it enlists a creature, yes, it does get bigger because it has enlist. Then it makes the next thing you cast bigger. Sweet! Dusk Legion Duelist puts +1/+1 counters on things. So they've definitely got the +1/+1 counter theme going on here. They've got a 1-drop and a 2-drop. So I could get the Filigree Sylex out. Or I could get down a blocker. I'm going to go for the Voltaic Servant. I can untap an artifact during my end step. I don't actually have anything to untap right now. Filigree Sylex will probably be our untap target, bringing it to whatever mana value we need to destroy. This is a lot like Blast Zone, or I think it's called Ratchet Bomb, in that you build up the Sylex and then sacrifice it to destroy everything of that mana value. So like right now, they have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop. Perfect curving, gotta say. Good job, Stato. Let's play another land. And I think the Thran Spider or Filigree Sylex would both be great here. Let's go with the Spider. Spider gets me a tapped Power Stone. It also gets them a tapped Power Stone, but they're less likely to be able to make a good use of it. And then over here, we've got a 4th land for next turn, so we can play Karn. And then Karn will see how many beautiful artifacts I have and say, oh, how nice. We might also use Mightstone and Weakstone to, like, get rid of the Dusk Legion Duelist, since this thing's kind of scary. Ooh, Hardened Scales and Branching Evolution. They're gonna get double +1, or +1 and then double. Yikes. I think I need to take out that Dusk Legion Duelist. I do not want my opponent to be drawing cards. Mightstone and Weakstone, come on out! Get rid of their 2-drop. Now I can use this. Get an oil on there. Swing in with these 2. And see how they have 1-drop and a 1-drop? We're gonna untap the Sylex. And I think we're just gonna start blasting. We can sacrifice this whenever we'd like. Do I think they'll play another 1-drop first, though? No, I feel like they're probably gonna play Ajani. Aw, Felidar Retreat. I'm just gonna go ahead and, do the thing. Getting rid of those 1-drops. It's a 2-for-1. 2 1s for a 2. Felidar Retreat. Cat time. Meow. It's a cat beast. A good kitty. We've got Karn. I could play Steel Overseer, but I actually think it would be a lot more fun to use this new land, Draenith Ruins. Lets me put 2 +1/+1 counters onto a non-human that entered the battlefield this turn. Karn, very much not human. What do I want to untap? Grand Spider. Sure, I don't have any use for 2 mana this turn. Waiting for them to play Ajani so I can pop it with the Sun-Scorched Desert. We're gonna cause so many colorless problems. How much mana do I get next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 artifacts, which means 5 floating mana. We can sink it into things like Karn's Bastion, Crawling Barrens. Lots of great mana sinks that we can use that Power Stone kind of mana for. Ooh, that's a big jelly. Why didn't you use all your mana? Uh-oh. I was about to say, do you have a fight spell? They do! We're not getting any mana! Because Karn is dead. Sorry, Karn. You lose your spark and you lose your life. But since you're my commander, you can definitely come back. Ooh, Argentum Masticore. Or do I just want to play Karn again? Masticore is really cool. Also, protection from multicolored. Not relevant now. Could be relevant soon. Let's just go for Karn. And as much as I'd like to save that for a ping to their Planeswalker, I'd rather get down the Steel Overseer, especially so I can use it in conjunction with this Voltaic Servant soon. Voltaic Servant untapping Steel Overseer means we get to tap it across both mine and my opponent's turns to put 2 +1/+1 counters. Oh, it's so many! That Ochre Jelly with Branching Evolution got real big. When it dies, by the way, it will make, copies of itself that should continue the party. Those are some good oozes. These each get 2 +1/+1 counters. And they have Vigilance. Let's see, are they swinging in? They sure are. Now I could triple block Karn, Spider, Servant. But is that what I crave? It's not what I crave. So I'm just gonna take the hit. And next turn, I think I'll do that after we've buffed up our battlefield a little bit. A nice floating 6 mana. A perfect amount of mana. Let's use it for a nice chunky couple creatures here. We could also use it to activate the Thran Spider. 5, 6, 7... Trying to see how much. If I want to leave 4 plus the Karn's Bastion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7 is where I want to be. Get my counters. Go ahead and proliferate. No, I don't want to proliferate your things. I only want to proliferate mine. Chill. Untap. And we can do it again. a fine-sized Stone Coil Serpent. I mean, they're gonna get more +1/+1 counters, though. They can get 2 from this, and 2 from this. That's a landfall. You making a cat, or you gonna make fat little jellies? Making a cat. Aw. Oh, Bossry Cat. Hi, Bossry Cat. Bossry Cat, by the way, the kind of planeswalker you need to be afraid of ulting, because he can ult easily and quickly if he comes down early on in a game. Thankfully, we already have a pretty well built up board. Now, would you care to attack? I have many blockers. Yeah, but you're indestructible. That's okay. Boom. Do I want to take the 12? Do I want to block with the Circuit Mender? Let's draw a card. Yeah, I'll just let it go through. We've got 8 mana floating. Let's go ahead and use some of that for a Crawling Barrens. Turn that into a creature. Let's activate that. Karn's Bastion. Ooh, so chunky! This is not an artifact creature, so it doesn't get the little buff here. Go to combat and attack with my Stone Coil Serpent at Bossry Cat. I was also thinking, ooh, I could throw everything at their face. Wouldn't that be fun? Retrofitter Foundry, I just realized, becomes an artifact creature. So maybe I'll want to animate it before we activate the Steel Overseer again. We could also play the Argentan Mastercore, and if we discard a land, we can destroy one of their tokens. The jellies! The jellies are here! Untapping? What you got there? Aw, puppy! Since we know what kind of creatures they've got, I'm just going to go ahead and activate these and let you decide how you'd like to attack. And make this an indestructible attacker again. Very good for Bossry. And I will be forced to block here, but we've got blockers. Just a few of them. This, by the way, has a mana value of 1. Relevant for the Masticore. 14 damage, swinging in. I will block with Circuit Mender and... no, Voltaic Servant. Just prevent that damage from going through. They get to choose which of these they'd like to kill. Things are happening. I'll discard and destroy your cat beast. Ow! Draw for turn. We get a Demolition Field. Giving them a land would be bad, since it would actually give them another trigger from Felidar. So what do I want instead? I'll just proliferate since we got all this mana floating. So much mana. Animate. Animate a little more. And I think we just go for the face. Let's see. They can block Karn. That's 12 prevented. They could block the Spider. That's another 9. And the Circuit Mender. How much is going through? A good amount. I'm not doing the math. Math is, and I've heard this said before, for blockers. No, I'm the one who's saying it, so makes perfect sense. GG, Ajani the Great-Hearted. Oh, rats, we're up against Marronar. Marronar gives your rats fear. Good news. Creatures with fear can be blocked by artifact creatures, and that's all I've got is artifact creatures, because we're an artifact stack. I have 2 mana. I have a mana dork. I've got a mana rock. I've got a guy who discounts my artifacts. Let's get this going. This seems perfect. No, you're not an artifact. Ulamog's like, I just want to be included. Okay, I use colorless mana too. Yeah, alright. Sure, Ulamog. We got a land, and I could go for Foundry Inspector. Foundry Inspector into Mazemind Tome could be cool. We could just get Key to the Archives out, see what we get. This is the biggest ramp, so let's do the biggest ramp. Key to the Archives, pay 2 life. We got Doomblade, we got D-Spark. D-Spark does work on Marrow-Gnar, so let's take it. And I am going to drop Cultivator's Caravan. Oh, 2 rats. The rats grow. I should expect to see many, many rats this game. We could play Karn. We could play Foundry Inspector and Karn. I like that. I'm always willing to pay the 2. Besides, now I have all these lovely, lovely artifacts. Them's the facts. Oh, another rat. Another rat on top of that. I will block. I don't actually need Karn out next turn. Besides, I could probably play him again. A waste. We could just play Karn. Let's go for it. Karn returns to the battlefield. An adequate blocker against the wee rats. Oh, my cat just came into the room and yelled at me. She says, did you talk about cats or rats? Maybe we're talking about rats. Do you want to come in here and be in the video? No, she doesn't. She's such a brat. I love her. This lets them make more rats, so before they can get there, we're just going to go ahead and D-Spark this. Nobody ever expects the D-Spark. Mazemind Tome. Drawing cards. Ooh, a Cloud Key. Naming artifacts. I could make a little Stone Coil Serpent, but I actually think a little itty-bitty Stone Coil Serpent is about as good as a big Stone Coil Serpent here, since most of them would trade in blocks. Alright, Karn swinging in for 5. Do you block? They don't. No double blocks for them. We got 2 wee blockers here. Got some Mazemind Tome for draw, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana ready. We need 10 for Ulamog. I'm not counting the Myr, and I'm not counting Karn, since Karn's it just doesn't work so well. That's a lot of mana. I guess I'll use it to draw. What do we get? This makes Power Stones. This gives me a Scry. Let's Scry. Coldsteel Heart. I don't need that right now. Thanks, though. We can make a little critter unblockable. We could make a Might. We could turn this into something else. Yeah, sure. I have another key to the archive now. I've got 2. Why not? It's more ramp, and it gets me to Ulamog. Ulamog's a good card. They'll never expect my mighty might. Don't mind me, just getting ready to block. Oh, Witch's Cottage. You want to put a rat colony on top? Sure. Marrow-Gnar, and they know I'm out of removal. Well, out of that removal that I got off Key to the Archives. We can still block, and we should have Ulamog ready to go next turn. Ooh, no blocks. They just want to make more rats. More mana. Nice. A 1-cost Zenith Chronicler. And Ulamog. Let's go ahead and get rid of Marrow-Gnar and a rat colony. And I also have, like, all this mana still floating for abilities and everything else. So let's use it. Let's draw a card. A Burnished Heart. And our opponent is like, oh my god, I just wanted to play rats. Unfortunately, Today we got to play the Exterminators. Takaja Digsite Mentor, another artifacts commander. Neat! This is able to bring back artifacts from the graveyard with a mana value of 10 or less, but in order to do it, you need to exile her from your graveyard and bring back everything else. So you gotta fill up the graveyard, your creatures can surveil to put the artifacts into the graveyard. Hello. We gotta see what they end up putting in there. Probably trying to cheat into play some really cool big artifacts, or just get some one-off use things like Mishra's Bauble. Makes sense to me. Takaja Digsite Mentor, by the way, is pretty expensive to activate. I think that ability is 8 mana and in Bant. They've got green though, which means they absolutely can ramp. Good news is, I have a way to exile cards from their graveyard, and I'm going to play it. The Unlicensed Hearse. And I'm impatient, so I'm actually just going to do this now. I don't like to hold priority. I could wait until they put more into the graveyard, or I could just activate my Hearse. Mightstone. They are indeed ramping. Or they could sacrifice that. Look, I have her dig site here. Ma'am, look, I found your dig site. Semblance Anvil is a bit of a strange one, since it does kind of require you to 2-for-1 yourself. But I'm willing to do that. I'm going to exile my Palladium Myr, which is going to discount both my creatures and my artifacts by 2. And anything that happens to be both still just gets discounted by 2. But this is nice for my creatures like Ulamog that happen to not actually be artifacts. Teferi, don't you dare touch my stuff. There's no cards for me to exile. Ooh, but I want you to know I'm mad. We could go ahead and play Karn and Circuit Mender. Or we could just disable that Teferi. Play Immortal Sun. Immortal Sun also gives me an extra card in my draw step, which is going to be helpful. Oh, is somebody getting exiled? I see 1 white mana. Is this going to be a Swords to Plowshares? I'll still get to draw a card. I'm getting 6 life, 3 from the bug, 3 from the swords. I guess I also could have, like, crewed in response if I wanted to bop Teferi. But Teferi's being shut down right now by the Immortal Sun. They might be able to get rid of this, though, so being proactive, probably a good idea. Yes, discard from your Key to the Archive. Key to the Archive could give them removal for any of these. I'm just gonna go ahead and munch those up. Yum, yum, yum. And I'm going to take a look at their hand with my Thought-Knot Seer. Oh, ew. You don't get a River's Rebuke. Board wipe? Fine. Big bouncy? Not fine. I could play Karn here, but I actually don't really feel like I need to. So, I won't. And even though he is shut off by the Immortal Sun, I'm killing Teferi. Because I don't trust him. I don't trust that they won't get rid of my Immortal Sun, maybe bounce it back into my hand with Otawara, and then cause terrible, terrible problems for me. Would you like to wipe the board? Would you like to play Takaja? They played Otawara, so I don't have to worry about them channeling it to bounce a thing. Takaja hits the battlefield! So you can tap to surveil. Getting to draw extra cards off the Immortal Sun is good. I know I do have Planeswalkers in this deck, but Immortal Sun's still good. We've been keeping their graveyard clear, so there's nothing to bring back with her. Ooh, free Voltaic Servant! Don't mind if I do. You can also throw down Karn. Same as before. Animate our Mishra's Foundry. It is a 2/2, but it's going to get a little bit bigger thanks to Immortal Sun. Get into trading range. I'm going to crew and attack in with everyone. Oh, and sneeze. They're trading with the hearse. Sorry for the sneezies. Who here wants to be untapped? Mishra's Foundry. Go for it. I suspect that they're going to wipe the board here. That's fine. I have 2 creatures that I can animate to attack in. But they will get to draw a card off my Thought-Knot Seer, leaving the battlefield. Esper Sentinel. Hopefully I won't be able to play into that. That's a 2-mana Sky Sovereign. I'm playing that. I will pay the 1. Oh, but they're countering it anyway. So rude. Sure, I will pay the 1. And then I will... Access Tunnel, Cryptic Caves. Let's go Cryptic Caves, Karn. Karn, by the way, is a 7/7 because his base power and toughness are changed to 6/6 from Immortal Sun, and then they get +1/+1 from Immortal Sun. He's getting chunky. And Gilded Lotus, they're ramping. I can ramp too. I can even do a really cute little ramp here. So I'm actually putting a stop during my upkeep here. So before this resolves, I'm going to turn Blinkmoth Nexus and Mishra's Foundry into creatures. Because they're both artifact creatures when animated, and that adds to Karn's count. Big brain. Very smart. Excellent maneuvers. Play this Tablet of Completion. Do I pay the 1? Yeah, sure, I got all this mana floating. Why not? Do I have any 1-drops? Any 1-drops out here? You've got 2 of them. So anyway, start blasting. Just making way. Some nice big attacks here. Swinging in. Dealing damage. Down to 7. Their Takasha is in their graveyard, and they do have enough mana to bring her back next turn. Also, that would bring back this, and this, and this. Not that exciting, but still cool. Here she comes with a couple of little critters. Well, 2 critters and a rock and a drum. Welcome back to Kaja. I put the upkeep stop again. We are going to animate our Mishra's Foundry. Make our Blinkmoth Nexus into a guy. We draw, and then we draw again. More fancy lands. Oh, Liberator! Oh, everyone loves Liberator. Tap this. Sadly, it did tap my Crawling Barrens before anything else. I think I'll sacrifice this Cryptic Caves to draw a card. Forsaken Monument. Ah. I want it. I want it. I want it. I have to wait until main phase. I want it! I pay the 1. Liberator! Go! Gaming! Forsaken Monument makes all my creatures bigger. They cannot prevent the lethal swing. It's gonna be GG. So now that we've caused problems with Karn, it's time to cause problems with Urza's Battlethopter Liberator. That's right, we're switching decks over to a former Brawl star, Liberator. This deck is very similar to the other one, but it has some different stuff at the high end. It has a slightly different gameplay pattern. The way you play in this is with Flash, because that's what Liberator does. This is a Flash flying artifact creature that gives all your colorless spells and artifact spells flash. That means you can flash out Liberator, then flash out anything else. So you can really play on your opponent's turn, which can be really helpful in a format like Brawl where there's a ton of interaction. Also, when you cast spells that are bigger than Liberator, Liberator gets bigger itself. So you have this ever-growing flyer, and you have threats that you can flash out from your hand to catch your opponents off guard. So we're going to take Liberator into the queue and do more colorless stuff. By the way, yes, Karn is in this deck, and I would say he's great in this deck. I prefer him in the 99 than as a commander. Jury, Master of the Review. Ooh, all right, I've got some ramp, I've got some token making here, and they have a commander that grows as well. I'm talking about Jury. What does she do? Oh, they said hi. Hello, Didacon. Jury, whenever they sacrifice a permanent, including things like lands or treasures, she gets bigger. And when she dies, she deals damage to her power to any target, usually my face. Just like in my experience of playing with this card, Jury tends to hit my face. Aha, nice 1/1 you've got there. I've got a 0/2 to block with. A lovely Ornithopter of Paradise, which can tap for mana of any color. We've also... Oh no! Just seen them. Sacrifice something. I was gonna say, I can sacrifice things too with my Retrofitter Foundry. I can technically sacrifice a Thopter, such as this, or this, to make a 4/4. Oh yeah. We're doing it. I'm sacrificing my Ornithopter of Paradise to make a 4/4 construct. Hey, you want to trade? This deals 2 damage to any target. They could have also sacrificed their Oni Cult Anvil there if they wanted to deal, like, a little bit more. Turns out the same, though. That's what I call synergy. We got Thopter stuff going on here. Then we could go for Liberator, or we could go for Burnished Heart. I think we'll just do what our deck does and play Liberator. Same thing, though, if they try to use removal on it, we can sacrifice it to the Foundry. Nice. Oni Cult Anvil. Rakdos Locket. No attackers, no blockers. Time for Liberator! Beep beep. Just a little funky car. We'll play Mech Hanger. We don't have anything to animate. That's fine. I'm not going to wait. I'm just playing Solemn Simulacrum now, since it will make my Liberator bigger. And it also ramps me. We could have also played Burnished Heart to ramp, but this feels like the more efficient mana usage. Go get him, Liberator! They're eyeing us like, can you sacrifice golems? No, I can't. Liberator, Solemn Simulacrum. Just 2 buddies hanging out here, waiting for our opponent to do a thing. And they have things to sacrifice. They could sacrifice this locket. That would actually give them a little guy off the Oni Cult Anvil. They could sacrifice Demolition Field, destroy one of my lands. And this Immersturm Skullcairn also does have a sacrifice ability. I have to see what it does. 3 damage to target player, discard a card. Alright, cool. We'll have to pay attention to that because it might kill me later in the game. Also, yes, Karn is definitely Jewish. That's why he's a golem. It's being asked in my chat, and I feel like it's something I should address because it's 100% accurate. All right, go get him! Solemn Simulacrum, Liberator, attack! They don't block. We're gonna make our Battlethopter battle bigger with the Burnished Heart. And Burnished Heart can be sacrificed to get us 2 basic lands, which in this case are wastes, because that's the only basic we have. The old typeless one. If you're wondering, by the way, why didn't you make colorless decks a year ago? It's because you actually couldn't in Arena. Not very well, because you'd have to choose a regular basic, and it didn't feel right to put, like, islands into a colorless deck. It's messed up. Oh. The Shackles! Okay. That's something they can sacrifice to their Oni Cult Anvil. Well, I can sacrifice things too. I'm going to block with the Burnished Heart. Block with the Burnished Heart. Activate it. It gets sacrificed. Grab 2 basics. Gimme lands! And now you still have got that activation here. The Oni Cult Anvil. Oh, but they're doing mutual and the mutual destruction instead. Right, they get their +1/+1 counter. They get their little guy. They draw a card. But we're going to go ahead and turn Liberator into a 4/4 on the ground. Ba-bam! We have lots of mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Cityscape Leveler can come party hard here, but I actually want to attack first. See if they want to trade the Construct for Jury. They did not. Here comes the Leveler, some colorless removal. We're going to destroy Jury of the Review. She'll get to deal 2 damage to whatever she'd like. Getting her off the battlefield means that she can't grow, and they have to put resources into getting her back out here to grow her again. Next turn, we have 10 mana, and it's Ulamog. If we wanted to be real sassy, we could have also, like, played Liberator and then flashed out Ulamog. That sounds kind of cruel, though. Ulamog. Card's already bonkers. Invasion of Fiora. Ooh! It's a board wipe! Goodbye, creatures of all types. I'll miss you. 14 life. A wee little 1/1. I think it's time to get some removal on. Ooh, but the temptation of the Flash Ulamog. I'm just going for it. Ulamog, I'm going to exile Invasion of Fiora and the Oni Cult Anvil, and our opponent is going to leave because we played an Ulamog. And that's completely fair, because we played an Ulamog. GG Jury! Atraxa Praetor's Voice, the proliferating Atraxa that's quite good with Planeswalkers and Sagas and +1/+1 counters. A lot of puh sounds. This Atraxa, by the way, pretty good, pretty scary, and because she's got Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink, is always going to be a threat in the air. Go ahead and throw down this Radiant Fountain, gain a little life. We can ramp, either with the Mightstone or with the Myr Convert. I'm gonna throw down the Convert. I don't mind paying 2 life. I just gained 2 life. You do have triumphs. My goodness. Such rainbow-licious lands. There is so much cat fur on my microphone. I don't know if you guys have watched many of my recent videos, but Scraps has definitely started coming in here and just rubbing her face on the microphone. She's like, oh, you pay attention to the microphone? You should pay attention to me. They killed my mirror! Rude! Alright, I think I'm gonna play one of those arena-only cards that's actually super spicy. Urza's Construction Zone. Zone? Drone. Good enough. By the way, Venerated Rot Priest makes me think that this might actually be a toxic or poison or infect Atraxa deck. Kinda scary. This card puts the Urzatron lands into my deck. And when it attacks or dies, I get one of the Urzatron cards out of my deck and into my hand. Oh, but if it enters the battlefield twice, which it would here, it's gonna dilute the chances of me getting perfect Tron. Here, a Mind Stone. I passed. We're playing Liberator. We should do Liberator things. These 2 are toxic. That gives them something pretty good to proliferate. Behold! Liberator! Urza's Battlethopter! Thop, 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 thop. Oh no. He got slopped. He got eaten. I have no Thopter. Bodie McBoatface returns to the command zone. Alright. Got some mana here. I'll make a bigger blocker. This is Traxos. He doesn't know how to untap on his own, okay? He's a little rusty. But with the help of his historic friends, which in this case was an artifact, he is untapped. I have a 7/7 with trample, but I'm planning on using him to block because I have 3 poison and 10 means I lose the game, and that's not good. I don't want to lose the game. Losing the game is bad. Fabled Passage. Getting them a little bit more mana. What sort, though? Oh, a forest. You have 6 mana. If you target your creatures, or if I target your creatures with a spell, get more poison. Things are happening. Scary things. Why are you looking at your graveyard? Don't be a farewell. I can't handle a farewell right now. Whew, okay, it's Atraxa. Atraxa comes out into play and proliferates, giving me another plus poison. Oh, hey, I drew one of those fancy pants lands from Urza's construction drone zone. This has Death Touch, but this gives it protection from this. Let's get it. Sword of Forge and Fire, of Mountain Dew, and Doritos. Attack! They can block with the Annex Sentry, but they can't block with Atraxa or the Brought Priest because those are green. We deal 9 to face. We can play an extra land per turn. We can also throw down this Karn, Sign of Urza. Sounds great. This untaps. And I can plus, or I can minus, or I can minus again. I'm going to go for the Gentle Plus, putting a card from the top of my library into my hand, but they get to choose which. Matter Reshaper or Zenith Chronicler. What'll it be? By the way, this untapped Traxos when it was cast because it is legendary, which is a type of historic spell. Not historic like Historic Brawl, historic like Dominaria, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. I know, nobody ever thinks about historic. They brought it back for like 1 card in Alchemy recently, and I bet a lot of people were like, what? Don't question it. Uh-oh. Archpriest of Shadows. If something hits my face, or I think a battle, I don't have any battles, then they get to bring back a creature from the graveyard. Oh, good news. They have no creatures in their graveyard. You would kill my Karn? I'm not blocking. I have 5 poison. Yikes! Blinkmoth Nexus. And an attack. I should actually hold this back in case I get 2 lands off the exile. They're not blocking with the Archpriest of Shadows. We get whatever the heck off of Traxos. Buried Ruin. Ooh, Mechagodzilla. Traxos untaps. I'm actually just gonna play these out this turn. Rather than, like, get out this, go for flashy stuff. This seems fine. It's post-combat, so we do not get anything. Sorry. Off of our dear Crystalline Giant. Lady and Myr. Alright, I'll take it. Not that exciting. We can always move the sword around if they don't have a way to destroy it. Oh, nice. The hatchery! They make some poisonous beasts, some toxic beasties here. Looks like I'm getting bopped for 4. Not that important. Much more important, the poison continues. They also proliferated their Rot Priest. Scary. These are green, so they cannot block the Traxos. Aw, lifelink! That's so cute. Do you care to block? They're killing Traxos, but Traxos has trample, which means we still get the ability. What do we get? Ah, Mightstone and Weakstone and Zalfir Void. We scry. I don't need another land, thanks, though. And we get the Mightstone and Weakstone. So I could destroy the Rot Priest, the Sentry, Atraxa. Atraxa, they have enough mana to play again. I kind of like hitting the Rot Priest or the Sentry here. I'm going to go for the Rot Priest since it has +1/+1 counters on it, and I just don't want to think about those. I'm going to equip the Sword of Mountain Dew and Doritos onto Mechagodzilla and pass the turn. They know I have Liberator. But I also have a funky little guy. You want to cast any multicolored spells? I would love that. I would get to draw a card. I don't have any multicolored spells in my deck. I'm colorless. Ooh, Death Touch! Sereth does, in fact, give Death Touch to any tapped creature. Skrelv's Hive. Oh, lifelink? Man! I was hitting you! Liberator! And let's... I mean, pretty much it. I'm just playing Liberator. I have a free block here. I'll take this trade. I want to block Atraxa. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. Boop, boop, boop. Proliferate. I feel like I've got enough mana. I'm just going to sacrifice this Mightstone. We're at 7 poison. Yikes. Mechagodzilla. Reach or flying? What'll it be? Okay, first strike. Bro. Not what I needed right now. Swing it in with our first strike in Mechagodzilla. Ooh, Burnished Heart and Hangerback Walker. Don't mind if I do. Just gonna do some of this on my turn since these will go away if I don't. Making my Liberator a little bit bigger raider. Yep. And scooching that protection onto Liberator! We draw a card. Nice. They get a Might. Everything with Toxic is lifelinky. You have protection here. Tapped things will have Death Touch. You already have Death Touch. 7. 8. The poison grows. Woo! Sundering Titan. Well, that's just kind of, like, fun. I like it. I'm gonna scooch the sword back over here. Since I don't know what this will roll. And I have to make sure I have a blocker. Okay, reach. Still gonna go in with it since we have Liberator to block. They can block with the Annex Sentry, and this will not trigger. They take it. Boop. See what we get off the Sword of Mountain Dew and Doritos. Oh, another sword! This time of Body and Mind. More fine protection. Scooch that onto Liberator. And end the turn. I'm not even going to bother moving the sword back because I want to have some thunder with the sunder. They can draw a card. They do draw a card. They lose a life to Skrelv's Hive. If they can proliferate me now, I'm in danger. Don't have many ways to stop that. Oh, no cards are happening. Two mana. More, maybe? We can destroy 4 of their lands off of Sundering Titan. But I don't know what to expect. Okay, untapped. Fury Ultimatum. This would return this to the battlefield. That is not the worst. But if they have something that then targets their creatures, a spell for Venerated Rot Priest, that would put me at 9. And that would be very scary. Aw, just a little guy. Slaughter Singer! I'm not scared of a Slaughter Singer. No, siree. Gets +1/+1. I'm going to just throw this Hangerback Walker in front of it. Gain a little life. And at the beginning of their end step, yes, they do proliferate. But you know what I do? I am biggin! We're going to destroy this, this, and this. Perfect. 4 lands. Thank you, Sundering Titan. We love you, Sundering Titan. So on the ground, they're still able to block with Annex Sentry, Archpriest of Shadows. In the air, this can't block. So if we can get 1 more damage from Liberator, when we can, from the sword, we're good. We're very good. They can't block. We get no life gain. Liberator has no arms, and yet can hold 2 swords. What do you roll? Death Touch. Little late. And in we swing. GG. Liliana Dreadhorde General, a scary, strong planeswalker who can make you sacrifice creatures, spits out zombies, and draws cards when your creatures die. All of these things are not what I want to be looking at or thinking about. So when they get to 6 mana, hopefully I can stop them for at least 1 turn from playing that Liliana with Hope of Ghirapur. Alright, we've got the Hope. 1 Hope, 1 Dream, 1 Reliquary Tower, maybe a Filigree Sylex. I see that they're making some tokens, and maybe we could just use our Sylex to destroy said tokens. Ooh, Mana Geode. They ramp. They're up to 4 mana, possibly 5 next turn. I'm keeping the Filigree Sylex at 0 for now. We want to tick it up. I'll tick it up. Play this Mech Hanger. And as fun as it would be to throw down Liberator, I want to work towards Tron. Urza's Construction Drone, when this dies, is going to get me one of the 3 lands, or when it attacks will get me one of the 3 lands. It's really cool. It gets me part of Urzatron lands. I really like these. I feel like it's a very spicy card. A bit of a ticking time bomb. I am a Filigree Sylex. I destroy 1-drops currently. Ooh, Yarek's Fenlurker. We get some oil. They have 2 2-drops. This is the only 2-drop I have. Fenlurker, I will discard Stone Coil Serpent. Get out of here. Vicious offering. My drone! Oh, at least I get one of the Tron lands. Urza's Tower. Neat. I'll probably never get to tap it for 3. Behold. Urza's Tower. Since they sacrificed their creature, I feel like I don't need to pop this Sylex yet. I'll swing in with the Hope of Ghirapur. Want to sacrifice it? No, they only have 4. So I feel like this is a fine just turn off. Time Warp. Doomblade, Electrolyte. Definitely not Doomblade. Take Time Warp and discard a Waste. I'm also going to tick up my Filigree Sylex. And get ready to wreck their mana geode. They've been trying to ramp and they've been failing at it, which means we want our Sylex to be able to blast this. I promise I won't play Liberator first and accidentally destroy it. Another 3-drop that ramps? Why, it's everything I've ever wanted. Stopping them from playing their Liliana is everything I've ever wanted. Ooh, Cordial Vampire. I mean, I guess it's good if stuff is dying. Sure. Let's blast it. I have ramped. You have not. Do I want a Time Warp? I feel like we can wait. I'll swing in with Hope of Ghirapur. And just go ahead and pass. Death Baron, gonna give these zombies a bit of a buff. This is not a zombie, this is a vampire. A dead vampire! We're gonna go ahead and block with Liberator! I'll take the 5. This is kind of scary because it's gonna start gaining life. All their vampires get +1/+1. Make our Liberator grow. And we'll exile 2 cards from their graveyard. This one and this one. Great. Oh, I can't pay the 1. Why is it? I was like, why is this glowing? We've got Play Myr, we've got Time Warp. Let's just do the Time Warp. Liberator says, ooh, a big spell. Perfect. I love those. You can draw a card, too. It lets me click on it. Nice. Buried Ruin. Swinging in. Get some more card draw for the future. And while this is here, we're just going to hit the graveyard once again. Oh, okay. Sundering Titan. Go ahead and destroy that swamp. Crew. Swing in. Would you care to block Death Baron? Death Baron does not give itself Death Touch. And I'm going to sacrifice Hope of Ghirapur to stop them from casting non-creature spells. They will have lifelink on their zombie army. Only while it's attacking, though. A Peeper of the Swarm! So I guess this is Liliana tokens. Because they've played a bunch of things that deal with tokens? No, maybe it's just mono black stuff I own. It doesn't need to have a theme. Just double checking what my lands are. Going to draw. Mutavault. I could animate the hearse using the land, but I could also just crew. Crew 2. Use the Myr. Swing in with everybody. You must block. They do have to block both, because if they take 8 from 4 and 4, they would die to the Dreadhorde invasion. And now this is just a little guy. Okay, now it's a slightly bigger guy. It will gain them life again. Hello, zombie army. Greetings, Liliana, who cannot be played because we destroyed your lands. They attack! We let it through. And we say, GG. Go ahead and hit that space bar. And our opponent concedes. GG, Liliana. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars and checking out both of these decks. Both of their deck lists will be in the description. And I'm sorry I couldn't actually get Karn into play with Bodie McBoatface, but we still do have lots of KARNage to do if you want to check out these deck lists. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you to the people who have supported me on Ko-Fi. If you're looking to financially support my channel, both my stream and my YouTube, there's a link in the description to my Ko-Fi. It's ko-fi.com/Amazonian, and you can directly support the stream there. I want to say thank you to Tacitus, Methalian, KF Blade, and everybody else who has contributed to it already. Thank you so much for helping me do what I do. Also, if you have a commander you would like to see, please let me know in the comments section. I'm always looking for more things to brew, and with Lord of the Rings coming out, Tales of Middle-earth, it will be coming to Arena. We have a lot more commanders to brew. I think that set has more legendaries than any other set, possibly ever. It's insane. Lord of the Rings is going to be a wild set, and we, the historic brawlers of the world, will get to play with it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.